All right, guys, now Tuesday. Welcome back to the garage, and we know what day today is. It's carb day. Oh, wait a minute. It's carb day. All right, really looking forward to getting these carbs back on the car, so we're going to do it fairly methodically. As mentioned yesterday, I think we're going to try to do 2 of the outside carbs first, and then we will add the middle carb to give us a little bit more access underneath the carbs to do up the fasteners, which are going to be a challenge back in this area here to get those fastened up. I know it's a little bit tight access back there in those corners, so we'll do the best we can. So I guess there's no time like the present. I think we'll just give a quick wipe down in here, get rid of all this polish residue before it makes it a little harder to get back in and under here. So we'll clean this area up a little bit, detail it, and then we will break out the carburetors. All right, just wanted to do a quick note before we start the carb install. We did a little bit of housekeeping here, and we attached our heater hoses as the access is going to be limited once we get the carbs on here. So those are now attached, and unfortunately I don't have the bulkhead connector yet, but that is on order, so that's coming. But I just thought I'd make note of that before I start putting the carbs on. So I think we're ready to go now, so let's get to it. The Webers are now on, and I think they look fantastic. They look right at home in there. And they went on relatively easy. I had lots of pre-planning to be able to get this done, and as you know, I've had them on and off the car a few times, but it's always different once you get the body shell on. Obviously that access goes away. So I think the next step for me is to dig the filters out, and I've got to customize the filter backings a little bit to fit the air horns, so we're going to do that now. You saw me probably, hopefully the time-lapse video worked out, and you saw me playing around with the vacuum hose a little bit. The previous owner had it running over top of the valve cover, and I think I'm going to run it around the back of the valve cover. I think aesthetically it looks a little bit better. I've noticed I've got a little cut in my hose here where I tried to shorten it, so I'm going to actually have to shorten that hose a little bit anyway. So I think they look great. Looking forward to hearing the car run again now. Anyway, let's dig the filters out, and like I said, we'll do some modifications to those to make them fit over the air horns. Bling. All right, I'd really love to run the Weber carburetors without any filters and just with the stacks, because I think they look cool. And I know you can get the little wire covers that look cool as well, but I wanted to run with an actual filter. So I've got these K&N filters that I want to run, that I specifically bought these stacks to run inside. So the problem is with the backing plate, and I have the plate here, and that plate just basically fits here on the front of the carburetor, like so. And then the velocity stacks would actually go back in and then be fastened with the little tabs. The only problem is the holes for the tubes to fit through are just a little bit too small, so they need to be enlarged slightly to be able to allow the velocity stack to slide back in and then be fastened with the retainers. So I've got 6 holes to enlarge, and I'm just trying to think the best way to do it. It's a fair amount of material, although the material is fairly thin, So I'm just trying to think the best method how to do that. So we got to figure something out that's going to be easy, and it's going to obviously need to be effective as well. I don't want to, you know, make these look like they're ovaled or something. Anyway, we'll figure something out. I'll come back. All right, they're not the greatest and cleanest circles, but they apparently will work. Just use my die grinder. That's the best thing I could do, unfortunately. But if I had like a spindle sander or something, that would have been good, but I don't. So anyway, that took the material off fairly quickly. So let's put this together now. So I've got the gaskets that I'm going to put on the back. We'll put this on, we'll put the tubes in, we'll put the filter on. I'll bring you back. And just a quick look with the locking tabs installed before the filters go on. All right, guys, we just oiled up the filters. Are you ready? All right. Feast your eyes. I'm pretty excited, actually. They look awesome. I think they look awesome. Again, might not be everybody's cup of tea, but yeah, they look good in there. So all that hard work paid off in the end. It's a lot of work to get them looking like that, and hopefully we'll get them operating as good as they look. Like I said, we've got a good baseline to start with. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. So I guess we can call the engine bay done for now, since we got all the major components in. We still obviously need to hook up the wiring harness and do a few other little things here and there. But for the most part, obviously got to get a battery. But we are now out of lockdown here. We are sort of out of stay-at-home orders at least, so we can actually go to a auto parts store now and shop in person as of yesterday. So that's a good thing. That'll open up a few more doors for me to be able to get some parts to work on this car. So anyway, just a quick look at that, and I think we'll call it a day, and we'll celebrate with a nice dinner, and we'll get back out here tomorrow, and I think we'll start on the underdash part, and we'll get these all this vent work, all these piping, demisters installed underneath the dash here in order to move forward. As I'd mentioned, I think one of my goals is to try to get the metal dash on by the end of the week, but we've got quite a bit to do before we get to that point. And I'm sure there's a few things I'm missing or a few things I'm not remembering that I need to do. For example, the scuttle vent flap, I've got to run that rod through a grommet. I've got to run the washer tubing up through there to the plenum. So I got to make sure I remember to do all these things before we actually put the metal dash in, because it'll become extremely difficult. Well, not extremely difficult, but more difficult to do that after that's done. All right, guys, we'll upload this, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.